Good morning. It's Sam McDonough, IFBB Bikini Pro, and today we have four shows we're going to talk about, which are number one, the Huanji China Pro, and we have like a Huanji China Pro 3 times a year, it seems like, so I'm throwing out another one, and then we have the Dominican Republic Pro. I'm devastated that we don't see Jasmine Gonzalez on here. She had mentioned to me that we might see her on the Dominican Republic list when we did our interview a while back, and I'm sad to not see her on here, but she's probably just preparing for the Olympia, obviously. And then the next show we're going to talk about is the Sasquatch Pro, always a major show. And the final show we will talk about is the San Antonio Pro show. So we have a lot to cover. And my background, I would say, sorry guys, sorry about my background. But you know what? I'm not going to, because it's probably just going to stay like this for a little while. The person organizing everything has pivoted to the garage, so I don't think she will be getting to my room anytime soon, and I'm certainly not getting to my room. It's just not a priority at all. And then what else do I have to say? Oh yeah. Okay, so I have kept up the photos for people who have done like sixth place and up pretty much, but I have not like thought about my exact predictions yet, so we're gonna do it live. I had a client cancel this morning, so my personal training client who I trade for facials and waxing and stuff. So even though I would love to see her this morning, she's really opened my schedule wide so I can do this video, which I wasn't going to have time to do exact predictions for beforehand anyway. So we're just kind of going to go through this discovery together. So let's start with San Antonio. Well, let's start with me changing my shirt because, oh my God, I'm like burning up. Okay, much better. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's start with San Antonio. So we have a lot of exciting people on this list. Okay. Where is Bikini? Here is Bikini. Okay. So, at this show, I have pulled, okay, the names that stand out to me, Jordan Brannon, Dana Darce, this is going to be her pro debut, Cassandra De La Rosa, who just got second last week at Battle of the Bodies, Alessia Fasheen, who has been in the Olympia multiple times. She has not gotten her Olympia qualification in the past 2 years, so, but she's always someone to look out for. Adriana Izaguirre, she has placed top 5 before, but I don't necessarily think she will be a threat for this show for the top 5, so that's why I have not pulled her up. So anyone who is looking at the list and saying, well, she's got top 5 before, I've pulled up people who I think have a chance. Not even I think of having a chance of being in the top 5, but more likely. Like I'm gonna work through some people with you guys, and we'll kind of see where I think they land. But I didn't think she was in there, so that's why she's not pulled up. No shade. I probably shouldn't have mentioned it at all. And then Nikki Lagoria, she stands out. Ben Leong, she's Olympia qualified. Adara's Olympia qualified. Ali Vethauer, I think she's probably the one to beat. So yeah, let's get into it. So Ali Vethauer, she placed 11th at the Olympia last year, and she was in the first call out last year, which I believe was 6 people. And so what is it with Ali? So you can hear me talk about her Mindy Pro wrap up. Ali's thing will always be just making sure her core stays super tight. She has a history of it being a little bit distended. It's been really good this year. But it's just always something to look out for, especially when you're at those higher levels like the Olympia, when everyone is pretty much perfect. So things like that stand out a little bit more, even if they don't stand out in a lineup of a show with like less big names at it. The thing that I think Ali needs to, that I think Ali is missing from her physique, even though, like, if I saw Ali's physique, I would probably have her winning an Olympia. Like, I just think she's very balanced. Her stage presence is really good. And really full. So, yeah, Ali has come in a little bit too hard at some shows this year. So yeah, just coming in with the right conditioning at the show, I think she will be difficult to beat. And would I actually ever winning like this Olympia? No. I have my working list of people of my dream list and my list of who I actually think is going to place where. But I'm waiting to see how Deanna Dang looks at the show this weekend, because I might have her in my top 15. I'm just not quite sure yet. Okay, so Ali Vethauer. She's probably who I think is going to win at this show. So I'll pull up her back pose too. Yeah, I mean, just really perfect from the back. I think her back is her stronger pose. I think in the front, she lacks in legs a tiny bit. Not that much, but just a tiny bit. And in the back, could she have more hamstrings and maybe even a little more fullness to her glutes, so that way when her hamstrings come up, they don't overpower her glutes or look like too similar to. You want your glutes to be a little more developed than your hamstrings, but you still want the hamstrings to be developed. So if she brings up her hamstrings, she'll probably have to bring up her glutes a little bit too. But I think there is room for her to just bring up her hamstrings where they are now slightly, and they would still be undersized compared to her glutes, but more balanced overall. So that is what I think with Allie. Let me know if that makes sense. And then we have Jordan. So Jordan, who else do I have pulled up? Because, Danar, she didn't win. Did she win the overall? No, Masa won the overall. Okay, yeah, Masa Rogers won the overall. But Danar, this was like her, she had competed at like one other show this year and then went pro, and it looks like the other shows she done were like 5 years ago. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see her pro debut. Okay, let me talk about everyone individually. I see, clearly I didn't really prepare for this, but a couple people told me they like my videos are long, so hopefully you want to be on this ride with me. Okay, so Jordan Brandon, I think this was her best look ever. Her makeup, exactly what I have said I wanted for her, like all along since I've been reviewing shows publicly. I think the makeup was just absolutely perfect. It was like her, but amplified, which is what you want in Bikini. Historically, she's done those like purpley pink smoky eyes that I think are a little bit harsh, and they were giving Ursula. And love Ursula, love a Disney villain, but not really on stage. So love this makeup. I think that was perfect. Her posing is way improved. Her balance looks really, really good. And she said she went to Pittsburgh like a day after this, basically, and Tyler said not to change anything. She said that he put her next to Maria Acosta, her teammate, who was 7th at the Olympia last year. Jordan was 12th, and he was like, yeah, nothing you need to change. So looking at her photo with fresh eyes, even though I've already reviewed this show, I think I think the vascularity always distracts me just a touch, but I don't think that when she has changed her plan so she comes in less vascular, I think it makes her upper body flat, and then she looks more out of balance between top and bottom because she's flat up top and always pretty full on the bottom. So I think this is perfect conditioning relative to her physique, and she could definitely win this show. Jordan is a threat to win any show she competes in. But I think against Allie, it will be tough because Allie has the conditioning that is not too vascular. She's come in too vascular before, but it was just because she was too tight. And she's like delivered multiple times and not being that tight. So I think that it's just, they haven't figured out. She's competed multiple times this year. So I think Allie will edge out Jordan, but Jordan could always win. So with this front pose, the vascularity sticks out to me, but I don't think that there's anything she can really do about that. So that's why I would say her conditioning is perfect there. Same thing with that I said in my last video. Her elbow sticking out this much is very distracting for me, and it diminishes her side delt. And in your back pose, they're looking at the fullness in your shoulders, like your rear and lateral delts. So we see rear delts, they're popping, they look great, but the elbows are out so far that we lose that roundness to the shoulders. She has enough muscle that you see a tiny bit of roundness, but it could just look way, way, way better. So I would straighten her arms a little bit, and then we would see matching fullness to the fullness she gets in her glutes. So easy posing thing, and come in with the same conditioning is what I'm thinking. I'm going to leave their photos up in case I need to reference them again, because you guys know that I have a habit of thinking I'm done with something, and then I have to go pull it up all over again. Okay, Danar, so I'm going to first go through the people who I think are have the highest chances of being in the top 5. So who is this? Brenda. Okay, pro debut, and I believe that's Jordan's client. Okay, so this is also Jordan's client, Nikki. Okay, Adair. So I'm going to talk about them first. Okay, that's everyone. So Adair. Let's talk about Adair. So Adair, one of like, just for me personally, the most impressive physiques in bikini. I think occasionally she comes in just a little bit too hard or a little bit too extreme in how much muscle she has. But I am always rooting for her because I really love her physique. So that front pose, is that fully posed? Because she's like really leaning forward. Okay, I believe that is fully posed. So let's look at the front pose again. So with her, the shape is all there. She does not need to pose harder to see hourglass shape. In fact, she's posing so hard that we're losing a little bit of hourglass shape because she's so tipped over in this torso. So I would have her stand up and nice and tall in her front pose because her shoulder is not in line with her glute here. That is a giveaway that she's not standing up tall. Also, you can just see it, but like if you are going to bend over like this, it should at least be to get more hourglass shape, which in part means getting the shoulder in line with the glute. So yeah, I would just have her stand up nice and tall. I'll check her other photos, see if she's done it before. This conditioning, she won this show. I think the conditioning is really good. She is just more on the muscular side. So I think this is a little more detailed than we typically see like in the top 5 or 10 at the Olympia. But really good look. So I wonder what it would look like if she first stood up tall and then second came in just like a hair softer. But yeah, and maybe I said something different in my hurricane video, but right now, since she's going to the Olympia, then I'm kind of thinking more along the lines of like, what does she need to do to be more competitive at the Olympia? Okay, so in her back pose, sorry, there's like dead skin on my nose. In her back pose, I think the conditioning is spot on. I think if she were any softer, then her glutes would be kind of blurred here, and if she were tighter, then her tie-ins would be too tight. So this conditioning is probably spot on for her. Yeah, I would like to see a little more outer glute in this lineup because like Jordan and Allie both have a lot of outer glute. Like their glutes don't really slope off here, and her glute isn't sloping off in the way that we normally see because she does have a lot of size, but they just like aren't as dense as like Allie and Jordan, so they don't have the same projection that Allie and Jordan's do. But she's not by any means like undeveloped in the upper outer glute. I think she just needs more overall size in her glutes. And in the past, I think she's been told, I could totally be wrong on this, but I feel like she's been told that her glutes were overpowering. So she had to pull back from training. And then her pose with the arms is pretty much exactly what I want to see on Jordan. Honestly, the way Allie poses in her back pose, okay, it's similar to Adair. That's how I want to see Jordan pose. And you can see the difference when you put them next to each other. So there, and then I'll just pull her up. So we have a full-on reference. If Jordan just did it more like those two, I think that would be a, killer spot-on back pose. Okay, let's look at some of Adair's other photos and see if I'm wrong. Olympia is probably what her best look was because obviously they're going to come with their best look. She's standing up taller here, so more like that. Wow. She just looks incredible. I'm a big Adair fan. Okay, let's see if she was leaning forward in this one. It might just be a mobility thing. It looks like at Hurricane, either she was way more leaned forward than usual, or they just didn't get a photo of her standing up taller. I'm not going to bother going through all the comparison photos because I know I've already done that in the Hurricane wrap-up. Okay, so that is Adair. And Adair, I think, is someone else who can win the show. I think it's unlikely with Allie in the show because Allie is just typically comes in with that perfect bikini conditioning, and everything looks like soft but bubbly, and Adair, things don't look quite as bubbly as they do on Allie. So I think Allie is going to be very tough to beat, and that makes me happy for her because I'm a big Allie fan. Not to be biased, but I try to tell you guys when I'm biased about someone, and even still I'll put them where I actually think they should go, but yeah. Okay, so Nikki, we don't have a fully posed back pose at Tahoe, so I'll pull up, okay, but glutes, that will be a big thing. You see shoulder fullness. So Nikki, I think, could be in the top 5 of this show for sure. I'm wondering maybe like a 4th place. I think she could be anywhere from like 2 to 5. I I think she's just really good. However, okay, 2 might be pushing it. I think where Nikki lacks is development in her hamstrings. I know she's not fully posed here, but it does look like her lower is in the right positioning, and I'll pull up another photo of her from when she is fully posed. But she's just a little bit flat in the hamstrings, and the muscle you do see has a split right through the center of the hamstring. So her glutes are really full. They could be fuller on the upper outer glute, as you can see here. This is a sloping off glute compared to a dare. So this is what I mean. A dare has that density and fullness inside of glute, and she might even be able to pull her suit bottoms down to like right here, but that is a perfect heart shape for the bottom, so I love to see that. That's something I talk about a lot if you watch my videos. So, yeah, she has density and fullness there. Nikki is just a little underdeveloped in that upper outer glute slightly and doesn't have as much density as a dare. So it kind of is going like the density you see on like Allie, and then it's a little more like the density you see on Jordan. And then it's a little less in Allie, a little less or equal between Allie and Adair, and then a little less with Nikki. So, yeah. Okay, so, and not that it's all about your glutes, but you do have to have, if everyone else has all the same positive qualities you do, and everything is equal, but you don't have the same density, then it could just go to the person who has more density because it just gives more pop. So, yeah, I feel like I'm all over the place. So yeah, okay, Nikki's not fully posed there. So upper outer glute, she could use more of in the front pose, and she could use more hamstring. I think the upper body is really good. They might say long-term, just like a touch more muscle or fullness. I could see them saying that in the arm specifically, but really beautiful presentation, hair, makeup, suit color, all great. I don't love the velvet teal fabric, as you know, but the color itself is very pretty on her. And then I'm not going to leave those photos up. Let's pull up June just so we can see a fully posed back pose. So yeah, this is what I mean. They're just a little bit flat. You don't have that same full round muscle belly that you do on someone like Allie. So it looks like glutes and then not much leg. You want the legs to be in balance with each other. And then something else that I think is just structurally Nikki needs to overcome with like just having a little bit more size, or like just having everything spot on, like her posing presentation, and then even muscularity everywhere. She's genetically has a little bit wider of a waist structurally, so her waist isn't going to look as like, she isn't going to look as hourglassy in the back pose as someone like Allie or someone with a small waist. Like a super small waist, you know? Okay. And then we have Cassandra. So Cassandra could easily win this show too. Anyone will have a tough time against Allie, but she could even be in a second place. So I just talked about her the other day. So I'm not really going to say anything new. I think just a little bit fuller instead of looking so hard will help her. And then maybe she could win the show. But yeah, just watch my video I did the other day. Okay, Alessia. So Alessia typically gets in those top spots. But she can also be dropped down lower. Like we saw her get 12 at Italy last week. So, or 2 weeks ago, sorry. So, Alessia, I think this is the best her front pose has ever looked. I think this is the fullest she's ever been able to maintain throughout an entire season. Usually she starts to fade a little bit towards the end of the season, but she's been really holding on. I think her makeup is really pretty. The suit color is very pretty on her. I think this is the best her front pose will look, and the front pose looks good. And then her back pose, her glutes are always like formidable opponents for anyone. I think the cut could be a little more flattering. So she's someone else who's a little bit wider through the waist. So her suit bottoms rounding like this is not as flattering as what we see on like a dare with that heart shape. So yeah, when you're working against these structural issues, it's even more important that your suit is super flattering on you, because that will flatter you. Like, that's it. So, yeah, Alessia. I'm gonna guess she's like maybe a 5th. I'm not sure. Okay, and then we have someone who got 6th at this show 2 years ago. So I'll bring her up. So this is Brenda. I would say, I don't know what she looks like now. We won't really know until she gets on stage. But really full. I would say the quads are just overpowering the glutes, so she just needs more size in her glutes. And then I would like a little more detail in the core. It looks a little bit washed here. Yeah, the suit is pretty. And then the back pose, she's not like super far off from having like the look. She just needs more glutes, and in the past like 2 years, I'm sure she's been able to add some more glutes. I would choose a more flattering suit bottom. It looks like this one is kind of like creping a little bit. So yeah, that's what I would say. But the shoulder fullness is there. If she brings up the glutes, we could definitely see her in this top 5. Let's see if we can find her Instagram. Maybe she's posting updates. IFBB Pro. Oh, Governor's Cup. Okay. I thought that was Battle of the... Oh, RGB? Was she just there? 14 hours ago. Okay, so that photo did not... A good thing we looked this up. Okay, that photo did not pop up. So Jordan also did RGB. So let's find Brenda here. Okay, she has a different name at this show. Okay, so this is what Brenda is looking like. And some of you probably knew that she did this. So you're like, bitch, open your eyes, find her. Okay, conditioning, much fuller, which is good. I would say a little bit too full because she looks like she maybe hasn't gotten quite lean enough. Like she has some more body fat on the legs. The upper body looks like it's almost there. The core, again, I think just could be tighter. So, okay, that's what she was looking. She got 15th, so she placed. This was a pretty big show, I think. Mid-size, maybe mid-size. Okay, here's the back pose. Yeah, she just needs to be tighter. So that was on August 30th. Could she have gotten tight enough? Because I'm looking at it and I'm wondering if it, worst case scenario, could be like 5 pounds. Did she really lose that in the past, like, 18 or 19 days? Probably no. But really great shape, rooting for her. Okay, so there were, yeah, it wasn't that big. It was 18 people. So yeah, wishing her luck. Okay, and then we have someone doing a pro debut, Holly Jones. So I have been watching this girl, waiting for her to go pro, and then she did at Junior Nationals. So really striking look. I remember seeing her on the live stream for Girl Power and then for the Junior Nationals. And yeah, just very striking look. Really beautiful shape. I think she will probably just need more density. I don't know that she could get fuller and achieve the right look, but rooting for her and good luck to her on her pro debut. I would just say a little bit fuller, which could mean it's a chew bowl with food, or it could mean she just needs more size. And I hope that what she's worked out in the meantime is getting this shoulder to match this one. Since this is the elbow she brings around on her hip and her posing, then sometimes it makes that shoulder a little bit too lax, and then it doesn't look the same on the other side. So I would practice posing on the other side to get some better balance, and then see if she can like kind of get that in place for her back pose. But incredible, full glutes. Yeah, she just looks really good. So huge luck to Holly. Okay, and then Janae Smith. I just really like her look. So maybe I shouldn't even be bringing her up. But I think that she really stood out to me when I was watching the live stream. And just really full. I love the green on her. I love the hair and makeup. The complexion, aka the tan, looks perfect. When I say complexion, I don't just mean she's a white woman. I just mean like the tan is specifically judged, and they refer to it as complexion, I believe. Love the hourglass shape she gets with her lat here. Like that's something that always just really stands out to me and impresses me. I don't know that it's necessarily judges are just looking for hourglass shape. I don't think they're looking at that lat attaching to the rib cage. But whenever I see it, I'm like, oh, I'm like, you know, the wind is knocked out of me. Jazzy is someone who that really stands out to me with. I even pulled up her photo the other day talking about it, but I'll just pull it up again because I am just like gooped and fucking gagged when I see this. Like the way the lat inserts into the rib cage, I'm just in awe. I love it. So love to see that on Janae. And then in Janae's, okay, so what does she need to work on? I think looking at this, she needs a little more legs. She just like kind of has some straight lines with the quad is actually full enough. I like to see more hamstring. If she had a tiny bend in the knee, not like squatting into the knee, but tiny bend, she might get more shape there, but it looks like some upper outer glute too. I think the amount of muscle up top is good, but the back needs a little more. God, we are 25 minutes into this video, and I'm not even done talking about this one show. So we'll be long. Okay, back pose. Yeah, more density to the glutes. Okay, I don't think we will see her do much at this show, but she is someone I will be keeping my eye on in the future. Okay, and let's talk about Daynar. So good luck to her at her pro debut. Very exciting. So she went pro at Nationals, which happens in December. I would say polish the hair a little bit more. Suit color is perfect. Tan looks perfect. So hope she can get it exactly the same. I would say fuller glutes. The hamstrings, the quad is a little overpowering. So more glute in the front pose and more, maybe not even more hamstring, maybe it's more glute. Bring the arm in tighter to the frame to frame you. She has that same lat thing I was talking about. And angle the waist away a little bit. She's a little too straight on in the core, so I think that's taking away even more of her glute in the front pose. But yeah, that's it. Maybe she could drop her hand like an inch, but yeah, she's someone who we could see doing really well at this show. Let's pull up the back pose. She'll need some more glute. And then not pinch the shoulder blades so she gets better hourglass shape. But good luck to her on her pro debut. Okay, so who are my predictions? See, Jordan is a wild card for me because she has, not had the hottest season so far. No shade. It's just, what it is. So she could get first. She can get, fourth. I don't really see her getting lower than fourth, though. So I'm going to say San Antonio, Allie. Where was I? Okay. Brenda. Oh, this was Jordan's page. Okay, cool. So, okay, I'll say Jordan. Adair. Adair could be, she could win this, any of these top three, I think could win this show. So I'm going to put Cassandra in there. Or maybe top four. So, okay, Jordan, I'll say Adair. If Jordan brings the same conditioning that she just brought, then I think she will edge out Adair. And then I'll say Cassandra. Okay, so, okay. And then I'm going to say Nikki. And Alessia, I just think I would be crazy not to have her up there. She typically does really, really well. Oh, fuck. Who was that? Does that work? No. Okay. Command Z does not work. Okay, well, that already is my top people. Let me just check this list again to see who I X'd out. Okay. Oh, Bin Leong. Why is she not pulled up? I must have accidentally X'd her out at some point. Okay. Because she is going to the Olympia, I'm pretty sure. Okay. So, Battle of the Bodies. Okay, yeah, she is going to the Olympia. Here she just was at Battle of the Bodies, and she didn't do so hot, so I'm not going to have her in there. So I guess I have Allie, Jordan, Adair, Cassandra, Nikki, Alessia. That is my prediction. Okay, so that's San Antonio. We're done. And let me X this out. Okay, I got to X all these out. I guess I could pause my video, but am I going to? No. Okay. So then let's talk about, should we talk about Sasquatch? Okay, let's see. We have Sasquatch, and then let's talk about Dominican Republic because it's smaller. And let's talk about, okay, yeah, we're talking about those two and then finish with Sasquatch. Okay, so for Bikini, we have, I pulled up everyone. Okay, so Alice Marquezio, I think, is going to win. And I just talked about her the other day. Kathleen Accorsi, her glutes are freaking crazy. And the back pose, I think, is just spot on. I think she could use a little more hamstring. But other than that, spot on. Who else do I have pulled up? Okay, Daniela Bracco. She just went pro last year. And then she was consistently placing top 5. She got top 5 and top 6 at her first season. So looking at her front pose, I think, yeah, she could just be a little bit tighter, angle the hips away slightly so she's not so straight on in the core. Is this even her, is that Italy? Okay. And then her back pose, she just needs to be tighter. So let's see what she looked like when she was tighter. Okay, I guess she wasn't much tighter. Okay, she looks like she was maybe a little bit tighter there. So I would angle the hips away slightly, like I just said. And then back pose, the suit bottoms, that is the end of her glute. So have the suit bottoms go with the contour of her natural glute. So I think she'll need a little more size, but she could definitely be in there. How big was that show? Okay, Columbia. Let's see. It was like, yeah, she placed top 5 out of 11, so that's good. Okay, and then we have, I think she just went pro this year. Yeah, she just went pro in May. So, good luck on your pro debut. I think she has great shape. I think they might want to see her a little bit fuller. I would drop the hand down to the hip so she doesn't cut off her physique prematurely, and bring the arm in tighter to the physique and angle that knee slightly at the judges. Put the foot more like right here instead of back here. You don't want those feet basically overlapping. So just have the ankle go straight down under the knee. Then in her back pose, she could be a little bit tighter in her glutes. So I guess getting softer is not really an option. And then we have Laura. So Laura has placed top 5, but not since 2023. So I'm thinking that if she can have a little more development in her glutes, then she could be in that like top 3. Her conditioning looks really good. She just needs more size. I know that's not fully posed, but I would have same thing with the feet and same thing with the hips. So yeah. Okay. So I think Alice is definitely going to win this show. And then I will say Kathleen. Alice, Kathleen. Then I'll say Graciela. Okay, so let me write this down. Okay, so this is Dominican Republic. Okay, Alice, Kathleen, Graciela. And it could be some of the people I haven't pulled up. The other people that are not, I'll say Daniela and then Graciela. The other people who I did pull up the other people, but based on their looks, that's why I, not like their beauty, but based on like their physique, I didn't think they would make it into the top 5. So that's why I have just these people pulled up. But I could be wrong. Okay. So, okay, Laura is okay. So, Alice, Kathleen, Daniela, Graciela, Laura. That's my guess. Okay, and then we have Huanji. I should have looked up how to say that. I think I have before, and I just forgot. Okay, so, this is going to be a good one. Okay, so we have some people competing in the Olympia, one of whom is Wu Bai. And then, I don't think Christina is. No, she's not. So Wu Bai, and then okay, let's see. No. Yeah, no. She's not going to the Olympia this year. But she did get second. She just missed her Olympia qualification last show she did. Muscle Contest Japan, yeah. Xin Yi is going to the Olympia. And, who was that? Okay. Well, sorry, guys. Okay, and then I need to be more careful. Aisha, and then, okay, Lee. She keeps winning. So, yeah. And then I really like this person's look, so I have her pulled up. Okay, so let's talk about these people. So, Lee. Lee is already qualified for this year's Olympia. And what do I think? The tan always looks really good. I like the color of the suit. I think the suit needs more coverage, specifically for the Olympia at least. So we see less of the skin in the chest area. And I think what she needs is some more glutes in the front pose. The vascularity is a little bit distracting, but I think she has to get this tight to see the detail we need to see. The glute insertions are beautiful. Like, she has these long glute insertions. They just are a little undersized compared to her legs. So she could still win. She has already. But yeah, I think that Wu is the person to look out for. Same feedback about Wu that I usually have, which is stand up tall instead of tilting forward like this. And then same thing with the feet that I talked about with some other competitors. And again, I know some people don't like these shoes. I get it. But if the judges have a chance to see your shoes, then you're doing something wrong already. Could they throw up, like, if she had super, super long legs and we're wearing these huge platforms, could it be a problem? Yeah, but I don't really see that as, like, a major issue for her. I think other shoes would be more flattering, but I don't think this is an issue. Angle the waist away so we don't see you so straight on, and then we would also get to see more side glute. And then in her back pose, she always has a very impressive back pose. Where is she? Okay. So super full, looks really good, and I would make the stance a little bit more narrow, and I would stick with the red. She occasionally does wear like an icy blue, which is not that helpful for her. So yeah, that's what I would do. And she is qualified for the Olympia, so she's going there in a few weeks. So I think it's going to be Wu first. And then we have Zinyi. So she's also Olympia qualified. Love her look, like this red suit on her. Same thing with the leg that I was talking about with some other people. And I would also like to see more coverage on her suit top. I think she could angle her waist away a little bit, but her waist is so tiny and her glute is so big and shoulders are so full that she still has great hourglass shape at this angle. But I would be curious as to what it looked like if she angled her hips away a little bit so we see less of the front of her suit bottoms. Not totally profile, but more like 45 degree. Because that will be more uniform with what the top Olympians do. So it will, I think, benefit her in the Olympia lineup. Since she's against Wu, who is kind of doing the same thing, then I don't think it's going to affect her. I think it will be fine for the show. And then I would like to see a little more pop in the shoulders. I think she could push her chest forward a little bit by like an inch, and then she would get better pop in the shoulders, and I would cut the hair a little bit so it doesn't cover her glutes. I actually might have her winning. Yeah. Okay, who did she get second to? Wu at this show? No, Nataya. Oh, I love Nataya. Okay, yeah. I think if I were judging, I would have Zinyi first. I could definitely see Wu getting first, though. Lee, I already talked about. Okay. So then we have... Okay. Then we have Yipping. So I think her fullness is really beautiful. I think she's a little overposed in the front, so she could relax it a little bit, but her shape is really, really good. I also like the suit color. And then in her back pose, I think the back pose is really good, except she could bring the feet in closer together. And if everyone's wearing these shoes, then even playing field. She bring her feet in closer together, and I think long term she needs some more size in her glutes, but the upper body looks really good. She might even be able to straighten her arms a little bit, so she's not like so pushed out with her elbows, but I still think she looks good. And yeah, she has gotten up to 4th place before. And then we have Christina. Also has great shape. I think she just needs more size, but she has done well before, so I have her pulled up. And this bubbliness she has is really good. The length of her hair is perfect. It cuts just right above where the smallest part of her waist is. We don't have a full front pose for her, but good hourglass shape. I would say looks a little bit tight in this front pose, bordering on skinny, but I think that's what she needs to get the pop in the back pose. And then we have someone who's placed second before, and great hourglass shape, just a little underdeveloped in the glutes, so I don't see her getting super high at this show, winning this show, but she could get pretty high at this show. She usually does pretty well. She needs more upper outer glute, I think, and just muscle all over. And then Aisha, the tan looks perfect. She looks a little thin in the leg here, so I would just like her to be overall fuller. And then tighten this suit top so it's not like sagging down. And you could probably pull the cuffs apart a little bit. I think it's just a little too much side right here, but really great shape. And then we have, Ying Yi. So I pulled her up because I really love this look. Like, she looks like a Barbie. Her waist is crazy small. She has a very natural hourglass shape. I think she could also angle the hips away a little bit. But she just looks like a freak. She looks so good. I'm a new fan. And then her back pose, I think she needs a little more upper outer glute and just more density in the glutes all over. But to me, with what she has, that's the only thing she's lacking. So I would love to see that. She got second at this show. They posted the photos for this show. Okay, I need to recap that show then. Okay, I was like keeping my eye out and didn't see them. Okay, and then we have CU, who I always talk about, but she hasn't been doing as well as I've hoped this season. So here she is in her front pose. Oh my god, I can't believe I missed those photos. Yeah, really great hourglass shape, great fullness. I think just a little on the less muscular side. So against Wu, and then I think it'll be tough. But really, yeah, no, I think she'd get third. Okay, so here's my guess, and then I will also have, okay, yeah, so I think this is, she's so good that it's really tough to put her in a fourth place, but I think that's probably where it will be. So I think it will be Zenyi, and then Wu, and then CU. I know I keep doing this. Okay, did she compete at? No. Okay, I'm wondering if they compete at the same show. Okay, I'll say CU, and then Yingyi. Okay, and then Lee. I guess Lee. But Yiping looks really good. I'm gonna say Lee, just based on stats. Okay, and now we are at, okay, I'm going to keep that up because I have to recap it if anyone cares at this point. And then let's talk about Sasquatch. Okay, let me get rid of these. Okay, so Sasquatch, Deanna Dang is back. I'm very excited to see her. She's someone who I think could get in the top 15 at the Olympia, but I need to see her in this lineup first. She has incredible structure, and like development, but she is less developed than some of the other competitors. But since she has such small joints, she looks very extra impressive. So let's pull her up. Okay. I mean, she doesn't need like as much muscle as like someone like with more mid-sized joints like a Jordan Brannon. At least I think. I don't know. Jordan, you can let me know. So yeah. Okay. So Deanna posted update photos. So this is what her back pose looked like when she won Sasquatch last year. I think she needs to angle her elbows in a little bit because we're losing that side delt. And then her front pose, she did post her front pose somewhere. Okay, here it is. Her waist is crazy tiny, really full glutes. Really full glutes. And she's depleted here, so it's hard to even like say anything about this. She's not as like, she has a lot of glutes and has a good amount of delts. Everything else looks a little bit thinner, but the shape works. So it just kind of depends. Like she could win on shape and like the fullness she has in those key areas, but is she going to win against people who are a little bit more developed all over? That's my question. So here was her front pose there. Well, we just kind of looked at her. So yeah, I guess we'll just see. I mean, super full in the glutes. This is what she looks like when she's filled up, and now she's put on more size. So this is more like what I want to see with the elbows. So this is good. So I think she could definitely win this show. And then we have Alice, who I think could win almost any show she enters into. So I just talked about her last week, so I think she just needs to be a little bit tighter and bring the arm in. Those are the only two things. She was a little soft in the glutes and a little soft in the core, so I would like tighter and to bring the arm in. And then I brought up Megan Eagley. So I am just very impressed by her physique. So I'm pulling her up. I don't know that she's like a threat to win, but I think she's very full. I think this shoulder is sloping down, so just be nice and open and wide across the shoulders. The suit color is good. Maybe she's a little bit too tight for their liking, but I think the shape is really good. Angle the knee slightly at the edges, and then let the foot be directly under the knee. But her back pose is absolutely bonkers here. So maybe she just needs fuller hamstrings, and maybe a fuller look could be achieved with some more food. Okay, and then we have Adriana. So I just went over her win the other day. I don't see her winning this show, even though I really, really like her look, because I think she's lacking in the glutes a little bit too much, so they look undersized compared to everything else. But she could definitely be in the top 5. Then Lauren, I'm excited to see Lauren compete for the Olympia. So Lauren qualified at the LA Championships. It's going to be her first Olympia, which is also really cool because she went pro at the Amateur Olympia in 2021. or 2019, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, 2021. Okay, so really full. I was listening to her podcast and she was saying that she, structurally, since she's so wide in the clavicle, then at Road to Olympia, they were telling her like different ways to manipulate her ribs so her rib doesn't pop out, but not so much that it like does something else to her physique. I don't quite remember. But with her, the thing that always distracts me is the vascularity and striations in the shoulders. So if she could angle away just slightly, or even just keep it like this but not flex as hard, I think that would help her out. So really great look, really full. And I think it's just going to be a matter of like posing adjustments and coming in as full as she can without looking too freaky. Back pose, I think, is spot on. No changes to the back pose. And then we have Samantha Kwan. So she has got 7th at RGB. And I thought her conditioning was really good. I think she needs more glute, but I did want to give her a shout out because she looked great. I don't know that she will be in that top, though. And then we have Jessica Roy. So she went pro in 2023 at Nationals. And I'm just excited to see her on stage. So I wanted to look up, I think Sasquatch is the one that I wasn't able to look up quite everyone ahead of time. And I just wanted to kind of shout out people who I think are crushing. Okay, so any update photos? Jessica. Okay, I'm going to pause this. If it shows pictures of her kids, I kind of am of the mind that kids shouldn't be shown at all. One sec. Okay, no, there was nothing, and there was nothing of our kids. Yeah, I just think it's honestly unethical to show your kids at all. That might be extreme. Like, I don't think kids should be on TV. It's like, why are you making your kid work? Okay, so I would like to see more full, and that could be privileged to me to say, but also like, what are we doing? So I would angle her hips away a little bit so she's less round in the core and we see more of her at her glute. I think all she needs to work on is bringing up her glutes, and she's probably been able to do that in this amount of time. Okay, and then back pose, same thing. Flare the quads less, so I would angle the toes forward and then bring up the glutes, and then I think she could like be in this top 5. Who knows? And then we have Lacey. Okay, I really like Lacey Rutland. So structurally, I think she's perfect. I think she could definitely win this show. And last year she did compete in Sasquatch, I think, and it was between her and Deanna. Or like, yeah, it was 2nd place. So Lacey structurally is incredible. The only thing she needs is more upper outer glute. Maybe some more density all over, but she's very impressive, and she and Deanna are extremely comparable, like long glute insertions, on the thinner side in their limbs. Not muscular, but, like, have similar structures, really. Carrie Sexton, I'll be interested to see how she does. She is qualified for the Olympia. I do think her waist is going to take her out of being in the question for this show. But it will be interesting to see how she stacks up in this lineup. Savannah Watchman, I think she's also similar in structure to Lacey and Deanna. So I could see her as high as top 3, but we'll see. And Michelle Brannon, she competed in the Olympia years ago, and here is how she's looking now. She also has a comparable structure to the top 3 I just mentioned. So let's go over my predictions. Okay, I think Deanna or Lacey are going to win, and it will be fun to see a rematch. And this is the first show that we're having points, so I'm excited. Okay, so Sasquatch, I'm going to say Deanna, even though I would like to see Lacey win. And I think, okay, let's see. Lacey does post updates at times. So, Lacey Rutland. Okay. Oh, oops. Okay, here. So, oh, this is my posting Instagram. I'm like, oh, I don't follow Lacey. What am I doing? Okay, so I don't see any updates. Okay, no story. So, yeah, good luck to Lacey. I'm going to say Lacey, or Deanna, Lacey, and then who else do I have? Okay, Deanna. Alice. She has a similar structure to them too, minus the long glute insertions, but like they're all kind of tall looking. So Alice could win this show. Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna say Alice 3rd. The reason is I think Deanna and Lacey have pretty much nothing they need to overcome structurally. And I think Alice, if she can't overcome that arm, and I think the short glute insertions compared to their long glute insertions when both of them have like fairly full glutes. Lacey a little less than Deanna, but still, maybe at least are more impressive now. I think that can beat them out. Neither Lacey nor Deanna competed at the Olympia last year. Actually, did Lacey? I think this is going to be her first Olympia. Okay, who is that? Megan. Okay, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Always going to my girl Jen. Okay, so Lacey, maybe she did compete at the Olympia last year. I can't remember if she is like, I think she did. Okay, no, she didn't. She didn't. So, yeah, I mean, I do see I think they're capable of pushing Alice out, honestly. Okay, and then I could see Jessica Roy doing really well. Adriana, since she's so striking, I could see her, I'll say, in 4th place. But I think we have some real wild cards in this show, like Jessica Roy, and Jessica Roy and who is the other person? Oh, Lauren a little bit, maybe. Savannah. Okay. I don't see Savannah beating Alice, even though I think she's capable of beating Alice. So I'll say Savannah, Adriana. So Deanna, Lacey, Alice, Savannah, Adriana. And then I'll say Lauren. Okay. And then Jessica, I think, is in there. Like, she's a wild card if her glutes are fuller. And then that person who placed at the Olympia. Oh, fuck. Why did I do that again? Brannon. Michelle Brannon. Okay. And then I'll say Michelle. I don't know. So, it's anyone's game. I'm really excited to see what happens. So, yeah.